Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Green here with No More News. Thank you all for joining me today, Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025. Huge show today, huge guest, the legendary Owen Shroyer back on the show to discuss everything that's been going on with Trump, Infowars. With him, he's taken a very heel turn, as he called it, big anti-Israel turn now. He's debating against Zionists. He's going to war with a bunch of big Zionist influencers. It's good to see. It's good to see. Lots to talk about. Thank you for being here for the third time now. Owen Shroyer, what's up, dude?
Yeah, the heel turn. I guess you could say that. Maybe sometimes the heel turn is forced. Sometimes you don't want the heel turn. You're just forced to turn the heel. Mm-hmm. And if there's a physical representation, maybe it's the hair growth. I'm not quite where you're at.
Yeah, grow the beard out and it'll become even more hardcore. Yeah, Battle of the Beards today. I'm a little
I just trimmed the beard, but the hair stays. So if there's a physical representation of the quote unquote heel turn, that'll be it.
Yeah, I liked the screenshot or the thumbnail this is from your last video. You've been doing these car videos. You got a nice little poof here, but looking good.
The hat sometimes, because what I do is I usually do that after or before my workout when I'm in the car, and so I've got the hat on, and sometimes it blends into the black ceiling on my car, and it looks like I have the Mr. T mohawk going because they can't see the hat. So you do all kinds of fun.
You do your car rants after the gym when you're hyped up on extreme vital male vitality, and you just hit your workout and the blood's flowing. You do a rant,
adrenaline pumping. Everything. Your brain is working.
Yeah. What do you take an Infowars pre-workout?
We don't have a pre-workout per se.
Weak. That's weak.
I do take a friend of mine's workout. He's based here in Texas.
You're telling me Alex Jones is doing all these workout videos and losing all this weight and he doesn't have a pre-workout? Oh my gosh. Team store, get on it. Anyway, back to the small workout and beard talk. I wanted to talk to you about some of the latest with Trump. So we got Trump covering up the Epstein scandal. You got Trump calling for Netanyahu to get off of his criminal investigation charges. He's bombing Iran for Israel. He's giving Gaza. He's taking Gaza for Israel. He's filling his cabinet with a bunch of Zionists. He's going after anti-Semitism on campuses. I even saw Alex Jones the other day with Jake Shields says basically the anti-Israel people have been vindicated. He's asking now, even if Trump is blackmailed by Epstein, you're obviously seeing that it's not. The Zionists are basically kicking you out of MAGA now, right? So where are we at with Trump? What's your take on Trump, the new Trump term?
Well, I think there's some things that are just undeniable, and that's something has happened in the last, let's just say, month. I think if you want to put an exact event, it would be the Iran strikes. But something has happened. Something has happened to the Trump administration. Something has happened to the agenda that we thought we were going to be getting from the campaign trail, and it's gone sideways, and now it's starting to just go completely off the rails. So, there's a lot of stuff that we can kind of take into consideration to ask ourselves why, or ask ourselves what's going on. I could look at it from a personal level, which I don't, just to be clear. But I think it kind of just serves as an example of what's going on here. I don't take politics personally, but it'd be like I think you would recognize this, and maybe this is why you bring me on as an example. I have suffered as much as anybody for supporting Trump. I mean, I would say I'm probably top 5 people that have been persecuted for my support of Donald Trump. If you name the checklist of all the different persecutions that people have to endure for their politics, I check off every single box. I was the guy that stood in front of Congress during the impeachment hearings and told the Democrats they were committing treason. That was me. Now, I didn't do that for Trump. I did that because I wanted to do that for my country. I wanted to do that for the truth as I saw it. But people like me, or just me specifically, I've been tossed overboard by MAGA. My opinions no longer matter to MAGA. The Trump administration couldn't care less whether they have my support or not. So, again, I don't take it personally. I don't take anything in politics personally. But if you just use me as an example, I think that it shows, the real base that has been with Trump since 2015, and then somebody posts from Trump's Truth Social, maybe it was him, that basically says he's done. He's done with us. He doesn't want our support anymore if we want to talk about the Epstein files. So, I just kind of shrug my shoulders and I say, well, okay, if that's how you feel, whatever. I won't take it personally, but then so be it. Then the rest of this is going to go how it goes. But I think that what it looks like to me now is, yes, if you have ties to the foreign lobbyists or the special interest lobbyists, then you are now more welcome into MAGA, or maybe more specifically into access to the White House and specifically Donald Trump. And that's not Trump's base. That's not the people that voted for Trump.
Yeah, I don't think it's just happened in the last month, though. I think Trump has always been MAGA, and they just he will pander to a wider base. But then now that he's elected again, it's just more MAGA and Israel first. He's always been a hardcore Zionist. They wanted him in to tear up the Iran deal and ultimately bomb Iran. And all of this promise of the Epstein oh, by the way, on the persecution, didn't you do like 9 months in jail for, was it the impeachment, or was that for January 6th? What was the jail that you did for?
I did a 2-month prison sentence for January 6th, but I was arrested 5 different times. I was arrested 5 different times for my politics. Mm-hmm. Every time virtually for supporting Trump, but I don't, it was for my politics.
Mm-hmm. So on the Epstein thing, campaign on releasing the files, although he said, well, maybe not as much. But then Kash Patel, he's going around on podcasts for years saying about the Epstein list and how they're going to get to the bottom and expose the deep state. Same with Bongino. Also, he was on Tim Pool saying, oh, a foreign country, some country in the Middle East. Right? You seen that clip? So I don't know which one, but some country in the Middle East has all the tapes.
We don't know. It could be any country. Yeah.
Yeah. And meanwhile, did you see the clip where he gets asked, like, what's a issue that's near and dear to your heart? And he said, defending Israel. And that's who we get put in. So anyway, the first week when Trump announces that, or Axios released that there's no list, investigation over, he killed himself, end of story. And then a reporter asked Trump, and he goes, you're still talking about that? What are you doing? What are you, a bad, evil person? I heard some pro-Trump commentators spinning that, and this is QAnon 4D chest here, Trump has all the blackmail and he's going to use it to leverage everybody in the deep state now, right? That was the first cope. And then that moved on now to the new cope is it's a Democratic hoax. And the Democrats meddled with it, and they put all the Republicans in there, and they took out all the Clintons and all of their corruption. What are your take on those copes that we've been seeing?
Well, let me just kind of give a qualifier here. And even though we've had some political differences in the past, I think we would both agree that we're consistent. I think that you're consistent in your views. You look at things through your own lens, and you're consistent in the way you approach things. And I think you would probably agree I'm the same way. So the reason why I say that is I'm just somebody that looks for logical consistency. I want to remain logically consistent myself, and I look for logical consistency in politics. And we're just not seeing that from this Trump administration. There's no way anybody that's being honest can say that this administration is being logically consistent. You just bring up one case example, which is the Epstein files. Now, Trump was asked about the Epstein files multiple times on his campaign trail. He said he had no problem releasing it. Okay, so obviously that didn't remain true. So you have to ask why. Obviously, Bongino has been talking about the Epstein files to his audience, which is one of the biggest conservative audiences out there in the podcast world. So he's been talking about it. Kash Patel has been going around doing media tours. He's been talking about it. Pam Bondi went on Fox News, big surprise. I believe it was in 2021 that she went on Fox News and basically accused the Biden administration and Chris Wray of covering up the Epstein files. So how ironic is that? Now she's the attorney general, and what's she doing about it? And actually, it was Chris Wray and Merrick Garland, I believe, that she called out live on the air. So now she's the AG, and so who's covering it up now? Now, as far as the coping, let's say the MAGA coping is concerned about Trump and the Epstein files, notice how, and he's been asked about Q before too, and Trump never disavowed Q or called Q a hoax, which I find interesting, and yet he's calling the Epstein files a hoax. So in the Trump world, if you believe everything Trump says, he's never committed to Q being a hoax. He just said, oh, yeah, these are people that really don't like pedophiles and child trafficking. Well, okay, who does?
He goes, they really like me. That's all I know is they really like me.
But he didn't deny. He didn't deny. But he's now saying that the Epstein thing is a hoax. So Q is not a hoax, but the Epstein list is a hoax. And of course, we know the Epstein list is not a hoax. It's a very real thing. Epstein was clearly, at the very least, well connected to the richest people in the world. And then at the very most, an intelligence asset for at least, I would say, 3 different intelligence agencies: CIA, MI6, and Mossad. So for him to come out and just tell us to forget about it, that was kind of the first real shock. Policy issues and policy things going sideways, you can kind of brush over that and maybe move on from that and deal with that. But to come out and just say, oh, stop talking about it, people are sick of it, and just not reading the room or understanding where your base is at, that is a considerable mismeasurement. So, yeah, of course, people are saying maybe he cut a deal. Maybe he's using them. Maybe the deal is get people to stop talking about it so he can spike the case for whatever other reasons that are going on. I have no evidence. I have no reason to believe that is true, other than if we're just sitting here theorizing, asking what the hell's going on. So I'm not somebody that says, oh, trust the plan. And then you say, well, what's the plan? Well, I don't know. They don't know. The plan is to trust the plan. So
save Israel for last. That's what they say that the plan is.
Well, and, I will say it is funny that, Israel is now the big topic. Israel is now being talked about more than ever as far as their influence on American policy is concerned. So, it is funny how some of these things do play out. And I saw them commenting, and it's almost like they're feeding into this, with Ivanka doing a picture of her with a candle. And then there's some Q post on the same day 5 years ago about a candle. It's like, oh my gosh, see? So it's like, are they feeding into it? Are they part of it? Is that a coincidence?
The hunter thing, the same thing too. You know how Trump says he was the hunted, now he's the hunter? That was apparently a Q post as well.
Yeah, and now they're posting that everywhere, so the Q people are all up in arms. And, and from my perspective, I'm just sitting here because people want to give me trouble, and I'm like, well, wait a second. I have a duty to, the way I see it, I have a duty to my audience to tell them the truth, and I have a duty to my audience to present them the reality that I can substantially say this is the reality. I can't do that with Q. Okay, there's nothing there. There's a bunch of anonymous posts that have not once come true. So I'm not gonna sell these lies as I see them to my audience. But it's funny that they'll attack you and say, "Oh, you just don't understand. You're just not part of the plan," and all this other stuff. And it's like, okay, well, if that all ends up coming true, then that's great. Then I win. Then they arrest the deep state. The satanic pedophiles that run our country get arrested. They get, goose walked into the prison. So great. So I'm going to celebrate that. That's going to be fantastic. That's what I'm fighting for. That's what I want. But I'm not going to sit here and go all in and tell my audience that that's real when I've not seen any evidence that it is. And it seems like every time the Q people tell me something big is going to happen, it doesn't happen. Obama was supposed to get arrested. What is today? Wednesday? Obama was supposed to get arrested yesterday. That was the big thing. Obama's getting arrested today. It's always this. It's always that. And then nothing happens. So, hey, I hope they all get arrested, but I don't know the plan. So I'm not going to trust a plan I don't know.
Yeah, I think the Obama thing is just a distraction to take the focus off of Epstein.
Yeah.
For sure. There was a lot of talk about Trump turning on Netanyahu, right? They're analyzing body language of Netanyahu, and there's this headlines and leaks of stuff of Netanyahu or Trump being upset with Netanyahu. But then he comes out and he goes, oh, they've been working closely together to bomb Iran. And that was just kind of like a deception to make Iran think that they weren't collaborating and about to attack. I saw Alex Jones do a post bragging like he predicted that Trump was going to cut off Netanyahu, but then now we see him getting Netanyahu's charges dropped because he's threatening Israel and aid, basically, if Netanyahu doesn't get off, calling him a war criminal and a hero and all this stuff. So doesn't it seem like Netanyahu's giving him the Nobel Peace Prize too? Do you think, Alex talked about this, do you think that he's blackmailed? Trump is blackmailed.
Well, I think that there's clearly, I think that, I'm not so sure Trump is a big fan of Netanyahu. But considering that, and then how much influence and impact Netanyahu has had on this administration, that would make you think, well, then maybe there is some blackmail.
Yeah. If doesn't seem like real love, right? Doesn't make it add up that he would really love Netanyahu as much as he does, right?
No, and Netanyahu has not been doing Trump any favors either. I think that that's fair to say. And remember, when Netanyahu was in court or about to have his court date for the war the other day, they bombed Syria and that got stopped. So Netanyahu had the IDF bombing a foreign country just to get him out of court. That's how evil this man is in my eyes. Some people would say, "Oh, you don't have any proof of that." Okay, I'm sure it's just a coincidence that that's how it happened. But I don't know. I think what I think is going on as this continues to kind of play out here, I think, I don't think anything is so simple in this case. I don't think anything is black and white. I don't think anything is 100% one way or the other. I think that whatever blackmail videos, audio, whatever that Epstein had, I don't think it's in the hands of anybody in America anymore. I don't think, if it ever was, I don't think it is today. And I think if it's anywhere, it's probably in the hands of MI6 or Mossad. Most likely it's somewhere in Israel. And so what I think is happening is I think Trump has great instincts. I really believe that. And I don't think Trump is our enemy. I still believe that that's the case too. But what I think might be happening is Israel wants the regime change in Iran. They just got the regime change in Syria. Now they want the regime change in Iran. Well, Trump doesn't want anything to do with that. He knows that that'll be beyond a political black eye. He's seen his poll numbers go down since the Iran strikes. They can run as much propaganda as they want. It wasn't as popular as they make it out to be. There was an appetite for it, so you can kind of massage it and get away with it as long as you don't get into a further war, which they've done so far. But I think clearly Netanyahu is trying to put the screws to Trump. And I think Trump is resisting a larger war, a larger conflict, getting American boots on the ground in Iran or Syria or anywhere on Israel's behalf. And so he's kind of trying to resist it, but give Israel enough of what they ask, but not go all the way to really do permanent damage to his political reputation, although you could say it's already been done with the Epstein case. So what I see happening is, and I don't think Trump was into anything illegal, but, Donald Trump at 40 or 50, hanging out with Epstein, probably hooking up with some 20-year-olds, probably flying around on jets with, models and stuff that people could say is...
that wasn't the whole thing. I'm sure he would be, or I would expect him. I would hope he would be with some young models. But that wasn't Epstein's MO. It was to get the underage ones, and that's how he holds leverage over people. And Trump would be one of the guys to do that. Here, let me ask you this.
Let me just finish. Let me just
okay.
Sorry. So what I see happening is, you notice how there's this like drip, drip, drip of all this stuff with Trump and Epstein. And I just have to live in reality. I don't think there's probably any other politician that has as much connection to Epstein as Trump. I mean, it's just a fact. He's got the most videos together. It's got all this stuff. So you notice there's this like drip, drip, drip. Like nobody's asking the right questions. Who decided to release that memo from the DOJ with no signature, no date, no official letterhead, just a memo just gets leaked to, who is it? Was that the Wall Street Journal? Whoever leaked that memo.
The letter that he sent to Epstein? Is that what you're talking about?
No, the memo a couple weeks ago that said we're dropping the Epstein case that kind of started this whole...
Oh, okay, right.
This whole thing. I forget who originally published that. Oh, it was...
Axios, yeah.
Yeah, that's right, Axios. Okay, so then you get this letter from the Wall Street Journal. And people are asking themselves, well, geez, the Democrats would have released all of this stuff to get Trump if it was real. The Democrats aren't the only players in this game. Okay, the Israelis and Mossad are very big players in this game. And so now I think they're the ones leaking it. Who gave the Wall Street Journal that letter? Who gave it to him? Nobody's asking the right questions. Where did it come from? I agree. If it was in America, if it was in the DOJ or the FBI, absolutely the Democrats would have used it on the 2024 campaign trail. 100%, I guarantee you.
Do you think that's real? It sounds like you're under the assumption that that's a real letter. It was Trump's like 50th or 50th birthday for Epstein. They had an email correspondence, right? That's what we're talking about?
Well, apparently it was something he sent him for his 50th birthday. Yeah. And then the little illustration. Is it real? I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. And it's like, I don't want to say I don't care because I do care, but it's not incriminating any further than we all know that he already had relations with Epstein. And we all know that Trump was a billionaire playboy. I think there is a controlled drip of all the Trump Epstein stuff that's not in America, that's not with our government, our agencies, but somewhere else on the other side of the world. And I think they're doing this controlled drip to try to coerce Trump and say, look, you're going to do what we want you to do, whether that's an Iran strike, whether that's more money, more weapons to Ukraine, whatever it is. We're going to get you to do what we want. And until you do that, we're going to continue to connect you to Epstein. And we're just going to continue with this drip. So it's going to be, now it's, look, yeah. Epstein was at Trump's wedding and we got photos of that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, of course, if the Democrats had this, of course, if the American intelligence agencies and the federal government had this, they would have rolled with it in 2024. So they didn't have it. Somebody else had it then. Somebody else has it now. And they're using it against Trump now that he's in power. That's kind of how I view it.
I think you're spot on about the drip out and very likely that it is coming from Israel. You're right about how they just released. All of a sudden now we've got some new pictures of Epstein at, was it Trump's wedding or they're both at a wedding together?
1993 wedding. Yeah.
So that's why this cope is so ridiculous, and I was vague about it earlier, but it's Jones that's saying it. He's saying that the Democrats have meddled with it, and it's a Democratic hoax, and they put Trump in there, and they took the Clintons out, basically what he's saying. This is so ridiculous because Epstein got arrested, and the investigation started in Trump's first term, and if the Democrats really did tamper with it and put a bunch of Republicans and Trump in there and took themselves out, why wouldn't they release that before the election to stop Trump from getting in? So that is such a ridiculous argument. I know you think it's ridiculous. Everybody thinks it's ridiculous. And I feel bad for you that you even have to defend your boss that's trying to say that.
Look, I work for Alex Jones. That's no secret. I don't have to defend my boss. I don't have to defend Alex. We're two different people. But I understand because of my long-term, professional relationship and personal relationship with Alex that, I kind of, it kind of has a force of gravity that I kind of end up having to defend his opinion.
I can't attack you for your take so much, but his are like lower hanging fruit. So, but it's still applicable.
Again, I understand why people kind of attach that to me. Mm-hmm. And Alex is a force of nature in the political world. So I get that. I don't have to defend Alex, but people always have this idea about Alex or about Infowars that I guess he somehow controls the people around him or me. Mm-hmm. Alex doesn't control me. We have different opinions on all kinds of different things. He's never expressed, I don't know what I would say. He's never expressed any.
Never told you to shut it down.
Yeah.
Never told you what you need to say.
That'd be a good way to put it. So I don't have any problem saying what I say on the Infowars airwaves. Never have. Never had any problem with Alex about that. So he reaches his political conclusions for whatever reasons with his sources and his research, and I reach my political conclusions with my sources and my research, and so that's just how it goes. But again, I just try to look at things logically, like you said. There's certain facts that are just undeniable. Like, Trump, it was Trump in office when Epstein got brought back in. Now, I don't think that was done for Trump. I think that, the Southern District of New York, if anything, it might have been done to hurt Trump, to be honest. The Southern District of New York and those guys over there, they're no fans of Trump. So, but that did happen during Trump's first term. But here's another undeniable fact. Trump surrounded himself with people that were involved in Epstein's legal cases. He surrounded himself with these people. Dershowitz, Bill Barr, Alex Acosta. I know that there was a couple other.
The biggest one is David Schoen. He was the lawyer for Trump's impeachment, and he was Epstein's lawyer. And he was the one that had the big viral tweet. And he goes, "I was hanging out with Epstein, and I can assure you he had no ties to Israel and Mossad. This guy is on the board of the Zionist Organization of America. He was also, by the way, Roger Stone's lawyer as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just undeniable. Now, does that prove anything? No, people hire lawyers all the time, but that is an undeniable fact. Now, the other day, Trump claimed that Epstein died in jail when Biden was president, which is obviously not true. And so now you wonder, well, okay, because I don't want to think Trump is a liar. I think that you get into politics and then sometimes maybe you either become a liar or you have to massage the truth, let's say, if we don't want to just call someone a liar. But it's like, okay, well, why would Trump say that? Is this an age thing? I mean, are there really now? I mean, he's 80 years old. I hope I'm as fit and capable as he is at 80. Let's be clear. But how can you say that Epstein was killed in prison or killed himself in prison when it was Biden's office when it wasn't? It was yours. So it's like, how does stuff like this happen? So the whole thing has just become a disaster. The whole relation to Israel has been a disaster for Trump. And now I think it all ties into the Epstein thing. I think it's the same issue. And it's just been a disaster. It's been a disaster for his administration. It's been a disaster for the MAGA movement. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to say it's totally irreparable now, that it's just completely destroyed beyond repair. But if it's not yet, it's getting that way fast.
So I saw Nick Fuentes the other day say he regrets ever supporting Trump. And, you know, I've been on your guys' case for like the last 10 years for supporting Trump so much, saying he's a Zionist and it's fake America first and stuff like that. So given everything that's happening, him and Levin, him and Randy Fine and Netanyahu and Epstein and bombing Iran and all the Zionist stuff that's happening, you can see why. Oh, first of all, we can agree. I was right about Trump. I was right about Trump from the beginning, and now you can see why I was on your guys' case for the Zion Don shilling, right? You get it now?
Well, I don't know if I'm willing to sacrifice all of that quite yet, and I don't regret voting for Trump. And there's no doubt that Trump is probably going to be better when it's all said and done than Kamala Harris would have been, or Hillary Clinton would have been, for that matter. So I don't know. Maybe you disagree with that.
I think we should have gone with Hunter Biden. Hunter and
well, he's going to get his shot. He's going to get his shot in 2028. Free crack rocks for everybody. But aside from those issues, I'll never regret voting for Trump for one simple reason, and this is personal to me. But Trump released innocent men from prison. Trump did that. He released innocent men from prison. Many are friends of mine that would have spent decades in prison, maybe even their lives in prison.
He got Joe Biggs out. And now Joe Biggs is even like calling out Trump and following me, by the way, and doing the anti-Israel stuff.
That's one of my friends. But there were many, and he also obviously pardoned me too. So, but for that reason alone, just for him releasing the political prisoners, the innocent men and women suffering in prisons, I will never regret voting for Trump, ever. I'll never regret that. I'll never regret supporting him. And I still want to hope that we can get, I mean, at this point, if we get 25% of the MAGA agenda, I think that, I think I'll be able to say, all right, it was okay. In the long run, it was all right. If we get about 25%. Right now, we're maybe getting 10%, maybe. Let's say we're almost through the first quarter. We've gotten maybe 10% of what we voted for, but it looks like there's not much interest in some of the other things we voted for. The big issue is going to be with the economy. We'll see if Trump can get the economy booming again, then that'll kind of level some things out. But I still think that that's an unknown factor. We're not sure if that's going to end up being the case or not. But I think that that'd be the one thing we can definitely get, aside from the border being shut down from this administration. But I don't regret voting for Trump. I don't regret supporting Trump. And so, yeah, now that he's in office and he's doing things I don't like, I call it out, because I'm not a pom-pom waving, face painting cheerleader like so many people in MAGA have become.
Didn't you tattoo him on your back, or that was a Photoshop?
I'm gonna withhold from comment.
I've been following you, Owen. I remember these things.
I'm gonna withhold. I'm gonna plead the fifth.
Yeah. Let me play this clip for you real quick of Jones saying, since I mentioned it, of saying that the anti-Israel people have been vindicated.
You guys that have been harping on that, I'm sad to say you're vindicated, because now it's out in the open. And I guess on the Israel issue, I've been focused on China and the globalists and the big banks and the Federal Reserve. And then people always accuse me, and I've talked plenty about Israel and, USS Liberty and all of it forever, and Larry Silverstein and 9/11 and Netanyahu and the neocons. And then when I get accused all the time of people that only cover Israel, working for Israel, it makes me automatically kind of go, these people are all full of crap. But now Israel, we just had, Defense Intelligence Agency guy on, Tucker's exposing it, General Flynn. He's not anti-Israel, but Israel under Netanyahu is trying to take over the White House right now through Susie Wilds, through their consultancy. It's happening, and it's a big problem. Not a military takeover, but a bureaucracy intelligence takeover. So you guys that have been harping on that, I'm sad to say you're vindicated because now it's out in the open. But the good news is people are really waking up. I think you agree with that statement.
It's very nice to hear Alex say that I was vindicated for his criticisms. And by the way, if he's warning about Netanyahu trying to take over, years ago when Netanyahu's corruption charges first developed, Jones said it's a globalist coup against Netanyahu, and they're coming after him. He's a true nationalist, and he's supporting the pro-Trump agenda. And then now Trump comes out and says, drop the charges, and makes threats about it, right? So it's good. It's good to hear a little bit of vindication. Guess what, guys? Just like I was right, Owen, just like I was right about Trump, I'm also right about Christianity and Jesus, by the way. But I wanted to ask you, remember last time you were here, I talked about the rabbis and the Edom prophecy, and I sent you a video, and I believe you watched it, and it appears that Alex, you also showed it to Alex, because like a few days later he goes, there's rabbis all over clips talking about destroying America. Did you show him that video?
I can't remember. That gets caught in the political, that gets just caught in the weeds of every day.
Right. It was like, I don't know when you last came on, maybe was it before, right when Trump got in, I think, so maybe like 6 months ago. Here's another funny one. Do you remember I called into Jones 6 years ago and told him all this stuff about Donald Trump? Yeah, did you ever remember seeing that?
Remind me.
Yeah. You remember when I called into you like 10 years ago and you're like, the force is strong with this one. You remember that? I think I played it for you last time.
Maybe.
Okay,
I don't know.
all right. Well, check this one out. Here's my call to Jones in 2019.
Okay, let's go ahead and go next to California and Adam. Adam, thanks for calling and thanks for holding. You're on the air.
Alex, this is Adam with nomorenews.org. I've been one of your biggest fans for 10 years, and perfect topic today to talk about treason in China, because ever since the rise of Trump, I really studied it deep and realized that all the accusations and rumors about you being a Zionist apologist, propagandist are all right, and Trump is completely a Zionist agent, owned by Adelson, AIPAC, ZOA, bailed out by the Rothschilds in the early 90s for billions of dollars with Wilbur Ross, who's now our Commerce Secretary. He got the top Zionist award in 1983 from the JNF, the Jewish National Fund, founded by Theodore Herzl. He's totally controlled by Netanyahu and Kushner. Trump donates to Kushner, who is Chabad. He donates to Chabad. They consider Christianity idolatry. That's who Trump supports. And you, blaming everything on China, deflecting from who really is controlling and conquered this country, is treason. George Washington would accuse you of being a traitor, and you should be ashamed of yourself for covering up for who really controls.
Okay, can I talk now, Adam?
By the way, the reason I mentioned George Washington and treason, because he was just talking about that before he went to my call. He calls me a Nazi after this, by the way. He goes, you're reading Nazi books. So I tried to warn you guys. I did all I could. Any thoughts on that?
No.
The Bill of Rights and Constitution. I'm trying to create a big tent to bring everybody around Americana and stop all the racial and cultural division that the left is using. And I've seen the extreme left, like the four horsemen,
Yeah, and then he compares me to the extreme left. So, what? Which is what they're doing to you now, right?
Yeah,
they're calling you Democrats.
That is why I'm laughing. Again, I can't comment on what Alex says all the time. He's his own man. I will say this, Netanyahu in 2016 and for the first Trump administration was very pro-Trump, and so, from my seat, let's say, we were kind of looking at a situation where from people that were supporting Trump in 2015, it was like the whole world was against us. The entire corrupt establishment was against us. So it was kind of like, the people that were in that together were really strong. And so when Netanyahu came out in support of Trump, I think it was kind of like, oh, well, okay, maybe, Netanyahu is a good guy and maybe he's like one of us. I didn't care much about Israel. I didn't think at all about Israel. I didn't think at all about Netanyahu. It was never an issue of mine. So that was kind of just my first introduction, really, I think, politically to Netanyahu as far as the work I was doing. So I was probably neutral, positive on Netanyahu at that time. Now I'm completely negative on Netanyahu, and I don't think I'm the only one.
What you just said about you weren't talking or thinking about Israel. Listen to Jones's response.
Really
Okay, can I talk now, Adam? I barely think about Israel.
Same thing. It's like, okay. Yeah, that's
so we're both consistent.
Barely thinking about Israel. Like when we debated years ago, I was talking about Third Temple and Trump and Zionist stuff, and you were like, "Well, what about the pyramids?" But now look, they're burning the red heifers. They want
to burn the red heifers. They can't.
Well, they did a practice one last week.
It had a black hair on it, so they had to burn it. So animal sacrifice, that's fun. That's good.
Yeah, but that brings me back to the anti-Edom thing, because remember the anti-Edom prophecies is like Judaism. It's about destroying Western civilization. It's about destroying Europe and America. That has to happen before they can have their messianic age. Don't you think that's important? We're trying to save the West. We're trying to expose the globalists, expose the anti-Christians.
Here's the thing. You talk about this stuff, and this is your issues. I don't talk about the Temple of Edom. I don't cover Jewish issues 24/7. I cover American issues. So I can't comment on the Temple of Edom. You told me that they would be building a third temple. Has that been done? I don't know. What are you saying that Israel is destroying Europe and the West with immigration?
That's what the plan is. That's a threat. That's what they want. That's the point I'm trying to make. And here's the other thing. So even if you guys are now critical of Israel, I still see you guys as Jewish, as all Christians, because Jones is promoting the God of Israel. The Bible is real. Jesus is the Jewish Messiah. Even if it's some anti-Jewish dialectic, it's still promoting Jewish religions. You agree with that? Like, do you believe the Jews were ever chosen, that Jesus was a Jew?
Well, I look at it differently. I think that Jesus stood up to Jewish power and told the people in that time, in that age, that no, they are not the chosen people. This is God's new covenant. You're all the chosen people. And of course, the Jews took that personally and as a threat to their power. So they killed him. Now, whether you think that is a historical, accurate depiction of events or not, is your own thing. I don't do Bible beating. I don't do theology big on my show. It's not a big shtick of mine. I was raised Christian, Catholic by my family, by my parents, multi-generations. I'm going to respect that. I do believe in God. I do believe that Christianity is a good moral guideline. And I do believe that the Bible does have a historical significance. But, as far as this, religious doctrine and who's right and who's wrong, I don't really get into that. I don't like debating that, because you're never going to change people's minds. Now, if you want to sit here and say, are you open-minded to consider that religion is used as a psyop to control the world? Yeah, sure. I'm open-minded into having that debate.
Can we? You were going to debate Greg Locke. Didn't he bail out of that, though? You were supposed to debate him, and you did push back on him.
I was going to moderate the debate between Greg Locke and Pastor Joel Webbin. And look, I'm the kind of guy, and you're probably the same way, I would imagine, that we can have political disagreements, but at the end of the day, hey, look, meet a guy, look him in the eye, shake his hand, and just recognize that's flesh and bone. And that, we're all going to have to figure out how to live and let live on this planet, or we're all going to die. So I met Greg Locke. I have no personal problems with Greg Locke. I don't like his policies when it comes to Israel and his Christian church. I don't like that. And I had no problem standing up to him on air. But I shook his hand, he looked me in the eye, and he said that he would do a debate about it, not with me, but with another pastor. So I I took him for his word. I got the debate organized. I was waiting to confirm a date, and then eventually his people told me he can't do it anymore. And the excuse that I was given was because I made a meme about Elmo. I guess when Elmo's account got hacked or whatever that was, I made a meme about Elmo that I just thought was funny because I've been doing that.
Visiting the wall. Is that what the meme was?
I'm sure you've seen the Elmo meme. I've been using it for years, where I just put my face on Elmo when he's in the flames.
Right.
I've been using that meme for like 8 years. And so when the Elmo thing happened, I was just like, oh, this is hilarious. I'm going to use this meme. Well, that was his excuse to bail out on the debate. I think, though, aside from that, what I see happening here, and, I think that this is why you kind of like to fluff yourself up and, puff your chest out. And that's fine. Hey, that's fine. Go ahead. Yeah, have your time here. But what I think is that these generations, let's say 40 or over, 50 or over, they've never actually had to debate the Israel issue. They've never actually had to debate the whole Judeo-Christian concept or the issue of Israel and who the real Jews are and all this other stuff. They've never had to debate it, right? Especially if you're on the right wing. You've never come up against any challenges to your ideology on that.
I've never seen a Christian debate on Infowars. That's what I was just going to say.
So, well, I tried to make it happen. He bailed out.
Okay, well, have a debate where Jesus is fake and Jewish. If you could, with me, that would be cool. You've had a lot of pastors on. Has there ever been anybody to talk about, Infowars is talks about conspiracies. I don't see any greater conspiracy than half the world believing that the Jews were chosen and worshiping the God of Israel and bowing down to the King of the Jews and the Jewish Messiah. That's the whole objective in Judaism, is to have all the goyim.
Jesus.
The Jews that first believed in Jesus were all Jews. It's a Jewish messianic movement. It's just a different sect of Judaism. And the whole purpose of the Messiah.
Christians Ethiopian?
No, they were Jews. Paul, Saul, the Pharisee, James,
they were
Peter.
Followers of Jesus, but did they consider themselves Christians,
yes.
though?
No, they were Jews. Christians, Christ just means Moshiach. They were just messianic Jews that believed in a mystical Messiah, a cosmic, heavenly Messiah is how the myth developed.
Well, look, I would have no problem moderating that debate if there's somebody that you wanted to face off against.
I just want to talk to you about it. So, because let me just ask you, because I know you got 3 minutes.
But that's like me coming up to you and saying, I want to debate if Mark McGuire is a better batter than Barry Bonds.
I didn't say debate. I just said have a conversation.
Well, you've just had almost an hour with me, so what?
Yeah, but we were talking about Trump stuff, We were talking about Trump stuff.
Hey, it's your show.
Hey, I know how unpopular saying Jesus is fake would be with an Infowars audience, but that's the problem. All of the right wing, it's a Jesus echo chamber, and nobody's getting any pushback on it, and everybody's worshiping a mythical Jew. And I see, does Israel not have Does Israel not have so much power because of Christianity? Isn't that one of the biggest reasons for their power?
You're saying because the Jews are protecting the Holy Land from the Arabs or something?
No, just because Christians around the world believe they're God's chosen people. They live in the Holy Land. Blessed if they bless them, cursed if they curse them. They got to rebuild the temple so the Antichrist comes and Jesus returns. Yeah.
I guess you could say that.
Right. So it's a big issue. If we're going to solve the Israel question, I think we have to address the Jesus question. And that's my invitation to you. I'll be very nice.
Do you think that's a strategy to win?
Yes. I think it's the only path to winning.
So you think telling Christians that Jesus is a Jewish psyop, you think that's going to get them on your side?
I think that's the only way to do it. Yes. The Christian anti-Semitism, turning Christians against Jews for killing God, just discredits us and makes them more powerful and will never work. And there's all the conspiracies. They're not the real Jews.
You're not going to insult Christians and then get them on your side. So, but you can try.
Well, I do. I have an audience of a lot of former Christians that are on my side and see it. A lot of them have never even heard the other side of the argument. They haven't been exposed to any of the information, and a lot of people honestly kind of already agree, and they thought that they've thought about these things on their own. They just haven't fully connect all the dots. I see you saying evolution's debunked, and you do portray yourself as a Christian, but have you ever had a guest on or read a book saying that Jesus didn't exist?
Yeah, actually, when I was in college, I was very much an atheist. At one point, I was probably even a nihilist. So I've already gone through all of that. I've already been anti-religion and all of that stuff, and so I get what's behind it. But I don't think that if your goal is to, well, I don't even know what your goal is, but if your goal is to somehow unite Christians against the Zionist forces or Israel, and you think insulting,
Not
Jesus.
insulting, no, educating,
you're
not
insulting
insulting.
them if you say Jesus doesn't exist. That is insulting them. I don't see that as a good strategy. So.
My goal is to oppose the Zionist agenda, which is Judaism, which is the Torah, and Christians don't oppose the Torah. And when Alex Jones says everybody just needs to worship the Messiah together, well, that's the goal of the rabbis that Christians adopted. So that's why I think it's a problem. You can think about it. Hopefully we can be in touch. If you don't want to do it on your show, we can do it on mine again, whatever the politics are over there. But I do appreciate you so much for coming on again. You've always been a cool dude to me. You've been a bro. Everybody knows where to find you, obviously. Infowars, Owen Shroyer. You got the legend. So it's 11 o'clock. I know you got to go. But again, thanks for coming on and talking. And
All right.
You can say bye to us? All right.
Good to talk. I was going to let you finish the sign off. I was going to let you take it all the way.
No, that's good. I was just going to. Thanks for coming. And
this is Owen Shroyer for No More News. Be sure to tune in for the next interesting interview.
That's how you do it. All right. I'll let you go, and I got some power chats to play and maybe cover some other things, but I appreciate it. I do appreciate your time once again. All right, take care. Okay. That was funny. Awkward ending there. Let's hear what you guys have to say. Let's get this moved over. Let's hear what you guys have to say. That was fun. That was a good talk. I wasn't looking at the chat, so I didn't say what you guys were saying. But I'm gonna get got to play a couple interesting clips. Got to talk about some things. Owen is cool for coming on. He's been nice to me. Can't hate. So let's see. Let's get the power chat turned on. Where are we? 49 minutes. I know I saw a few of these coming through. Let's turn this on. Hear what you have to say. Owen's cool for coming on. We were saying to debate Nick Fuentes on Owen's show. Owen's not ready for the green pill. We're going to ease him into it. He alluded to maybe he's insulted. He said Christians are insulted.
Charles of the Levant sent $5. Adam was right about Trump. Now we're just waiting for Owen to come around to the Christian question.
Yep, got to keep digging down the rabbi hole and you find Jesus.
Cornpop sent $5. Has Owen ever done his due diligence and researched how many previous gods were ripped away from his ancestors through theologic, terrorist, genocidal, psychopathic action and replaced them with King Jiga?
Yeah, I'll have to explain to him how his pagan gods were conquered by Yahweh and the chosen people.
Cornpop sent $5. Hey, Owen, do you prefer an ideology which enables you to seek vengeance against enemies that wronged you, or prefer an ideology that allows your enemies to turn you out? If you prefer the first, you're on the wrong team.
Yeah. We'll talk about some of the problems with Christianity, how it makes us vulnerable and weak. Good one. Can't believe you're letting him talk for 5 minutes straight. Did I let him talk for 5 minutes straight? I can't bring him on and cut him off and not ask him questions and not let him answer. Kino, thanks for coming on, Owen. Yes, we do appreciate it. I've trashed Infowars so much for years.
Freak sent $5 on Rumble. 25% of MAGA agenda must mean the Gulf of America and a picture of Big Mike's penis.
Yeah, at least we got the Gulf of America, right?
Shaheen Pa sent $10 on Rumble. Owen, you're not gonna have any regrets after we find out Jones was blackmailed. Trump was working for the Zionist world order and both of your coverage on the Palestinian genocide. BS.
Thank you, ABX89.
Sent $10 legendary intervention in Infowars.
Yeah, intervention, another Owen intervention in the lion's den.
Shaheen Pa sent $10 on Rumble. We've had reasons to think about Israel since the Rothschilds set up the Federal Reserve, the state of Israel after World War II, Mossad being behind 9/11, wars surrounding Israel that we're in debt to.
Yeah. Ridiculous for Owen to say.
Mythology is
or
not
for
history.
Jones to say.
$5 on Rumble. Owen, please read your Bible. Owen, you don't seem to know anything about it. Jews conquered the world theologically. It's like Joseph in Genesis in the Bible.
He said he was an atheist in college, so there's hope. There's a glimmer of hope.
$5 on Rumble.
We can
You all look like you could
deconvert
be
him.
related, lol.
Don't we look like we could be related? We look like Viking bros.
Ubx 89 sent $10. Why do Christians have a book, Old Testament, that says that the nations must be destroyed or subjugated to Israel and consider that book holy? Christian nationalism is a contradiction.
Yeah, those are the kind of type of verses I want to show him.
White_stag sent $5 on Rumble. You asked all the tough questions. Did not hold back. Good work, Adam.
Thank you, Liam. Owen probably thinks religion is boring and he hasn't read those verses. I bet you're right.
$10. Oh, the Jim was right here. Also, find my green pills with code. A green pill.
Your Tales of Levant. Thanks, buddy.
Tales of the Levant sent $5. Trump was probably banging 20-year-olds with Epstein. That sounded gatekeeper as hell.
He might have thought they were 18, but they actually weren't. I think that's the whole trick that Epstein was doing.
Burrito sent $5. Great content. I'm here for it.
Because if you knew they were underage, they wouldn't do it, because then they could be blackmailed. You see Owen waking up eventually, baby steps. Maybe we just need to find a way to make this stuff more digestible. Yeah, I want to have been telling him I want to have like a private offline conversation about this stuff. Maybe that could be a little more fruitful. We don't have to publicly fight it out in front of everybody and know that he could be clipped up and things can end up Jones seeing. Yeah, I saw that guy, that Manosphere dude. He was wearing like a Thor's hammer necklace. Must be a pagan. Guys, I saw Jones explaining yesterday, like he's pivoting away from the Epstein scandal to now the arresting Obama. And this is what Jones had to say. Something really interesting about Jones admits, which he's alluded to this before, that he was working with Roger Stone and like, I think it's General Boykin and Shoemaker and maybe even Flynn to get Trump in 2015 to have a coup. Jerome Corsi talked about, the military had a coup to take Obama out because he was doing this Iran deal. It was the Zionists, right? Expose the Enemy. If you're in the chat, I wanted to send this to you. Expose the Enemy's latest video. John Swin, Expose the Enemy on YouTube. His latest video going into the history of the ripping up the Iran deal and Trump bombing Iran. Very insightful. I'm going to do a marathon playing a bunch of his videos. He's also got some really great videos exposing the Q psyop as well. Those would be good for Owen to see, actually. That might be a hard pill to swallow for him. But here's the clip. I'm going to check to see if Expose is still here in the chat. But you need to see this, John.
Let's talk about what they don't want us to talk about. And again, I was personally spied on.
Yeah, it would be cool. I meant to say that. Hey, Owen, come on. The whole internet needs to see me versus Alex Jones. Let's do it, please. I got another old clip of Jones saying, he's like, if I did help shill Trump and he's the Antichrist, I did it unwittingly. But listen to what he says here. He's talking about how Obama administration started spying on him because they thought he was colluding with foreign entities to get Trump into power.
We have the NSA documents, the declassified FBI documents. I've already gone over it all yesterday. Starting 2013, well, even 2007, some of the documents, but hardcore because they, in the files, said they believed, this is public, that I would be supporting Trump. These 24 people that they believe are going to support his run.
Here it is.
And now I know that's because Roger Stone was meeting with him and on the phone, telling him who he was going to go try to recruit. He came in.
So Roger Stone was working with Trump, and he came and recruited Alex Jones to help get Trump elected. And Jones has also explained in past interviews that the military guys came to him and they're like, yeah, we're going to have a coup with Trump and he's going to take over and it's going to be America first. They're going to take out the deep state, all of this stuff. This is probably where QAnon came from as well. These networks. So Roger Stone recruited you to be a Trump shill? Are you Mr. Conspiracy guy? Are you calling balls and strikes? Are you being unbiased, or are you a Trump cheerleader with Roger Stone? Because it sounds to me like you're just on board Trump propagandist. So you got recruited by Roger Stone and whoever else. Oh, and by the way, FBI declassified documents. I brought this up the last time Owen was on, and he said that there was here, I'll just show it. FBI declassified Stone and Corsi. Listen to this.
He's supporting Trump. These 24 people that they believe are going to support his run. And now I know that's because Roger Stone was meeting with him and on the phone, telling him who he was going to go try to recruit. He came a year later and did it. Oh, yeah, a long time before Trump came on and all that, I was behind the scenes going, yeah, I'm going to back him. And they had her phones.
And then he had on Corsi to talk about how great Trump was, Corsi, the ultra-Zionist. Now look at this, okay? With what Jones just told us there, Owen was on earlier. I would have brought this up to him, but we only had 50 minutes. He had somewhere to be at 1 o'clock. So this is 2020 redacted FBI document hints at Israeli effort to help Trump in 2016 campaign. Trump confidant Roger Stone being told by a Jerusalem contact he is going to be defeated unless we intervene. We have critical intel. The key is in your hands. Emails between a Jerusalem contact, Roger Stone, and Jerome Corsi. Jerome Corsi got hired by Alex Jones right leading up to the 2016 election to be the Washington Bureau correspondent. Jerome Corsi, who was pushing QAnon and promoting QAnon with Alex Jones on the show, by the way. So Alex says he was recruited by Stone to help Trump get into office. And then we can see here that Roger Stone was colluding with, they also blamed him for colluding with Russia, but this one was colluding with Jerusalem also. Jerusalem-based contact, heavily redacted. This guy apparently, minister portfolio, he was connected to Netanyahu. And they said, it's so damning. The Jerusalem contact said, hello, Roger, hello from Jerusalem. Any progress? He's going to be defeated unless we intervene. We have critical intel. The key is in your hands. What are you talking about, Aiden? Number one, I don't talk shit about Owen every day. I talk shit about Alex Jones for years. How did I agree with him when he came on? What are you even talking about? Everybody else is happy with the interview and you're complaining? I don't get it. And I'm still going. You're interrupting me still talking about Jones and Roger Stone. And you're not even giving enough money so that it plays the audio. You're being a shekel pincher, complaining. Need more Amalek says the Trump, Tel Aviv, Moscow axis. So look at what this is saying. What kind of intel? Trump's going to lose unless they intervene. We have critical intel. Is this the WikiLeaks Pizzagate stuff that Alex Jones was promoting so much in 2016? Thank you. Yeah, why are we donating $1 to complain about what didn't even happen?
$1. WTF.
Right. So this just gets me wondering what was going on with Roger Stone and Corsi and Alex Jones. He says straight up he was recruited to get Trump in. You were recruited to get this Zog Epstein blackmailed, does everything for Israel politician into office? Because that's what it looks like. Shekel pincher, yeah.
Tap, that's confirmed, and they were hearing all this. So they're like, yeah, find something on all these people and throw their ass in prison. And they indicted most of the people on the list. And what the FBI, CIA guy caught on undercover tape 2 years ago, yeah, we investigated him for a decade. Alex Jones, we couldn't find anything. So we went ahead and just cooked up this fairy tale that did all this stuff to dead.
So look, this is what apparently their investigation that was released on Jones. And by the way, if Jones is colluding with foreign powers to meddle with our elections, they should be investigated. It says, oh shoot. Russian and criminal actors did not impact recent U.S. elections, conducting malicious cyber. Oh, and not to mention all the other Israeli groups that helped Trump get elected, right? He got the AIPAC endorsement. He got the Zionist endorsement. He got the rabbis' endorsements. He's gotten all the top awards. He's only going to be getting more awards in the next few years, too. And where was I going with this? Oh, the NSO group, the Psi group, Cambridge Analytica, all these Israel Unit 8200 connected technology companies that help Trump get elected through social media influence, through internet and influencer connections.
Kids' families.
This is from Jones' show yesterday.
It's come out in court. They ran it and funded it on top of it, not just undercover video. And they launder the money through the charities right to the law firms. That's all come out now, too. So this is proven. So I'm going to spend as much time on Crossfire Hurricane, everything comes out of that, as I'm going to spend on Epstein. In fact,
see, now he's justifying the pivot to stop complaining about. Aiden says dude, Aiden, what is your problem, dude? Aren't you like one of my listeners? What is your problem? I bring on Owen again. I confront him about all this Zionist stuff. You said I agreed with him. What, that they're dripping out blackmail?
Palantir would have been an interesting topic to discuss with Owen if you speak with him again.
Yeah. I thought of that last night. I before I went to bed, I took a couple notes of things I wanted to bring up.
Thunderstorm 9 sent $5 on Rumble. Shekel Pinchers and Shekel Clippers Infowars.
So yeah, the Palantir thing, if I would have had more time and if I would have remembered, that would have been a good one to bring up. Because Jones is trying to, with Nick Fuentes, we played the clip, he brought up Palantir and J.D. Vance and stuff. Epstein also invested in Palantir. And Jones was like, oh, they're just a small player. They're no big deal. They're not a threat, basically.
you'd probably spend more, because we know Obama and we know their people still have their people all throughout the government, and we know they're going to try to come back and bring us into the total tyranny again.
Yeah, and thank you. See Through It All says, the Owen interview can't be a straight Alex Inquisition. Oh, every time Owen's been on, I've just been attacking him with every single thing, you know? Explain this, you did this, ever do that. I told him last time, I'm like, next time you come on, we'll just like talk about the issues. It won't be an interrogation. I won't be deposing you as much. I still did it quite a bit. But guys, if I'm too harsh on them, they'll never come. Maybe you guys that don't have a show and haven't been streaming for years and aren't worrying about booking guests don't understand that that's the way the world works. But that's the reality.
But there's a pharisaical thing that Christ talked about where people like to eat their own.
Vinny Eastwood rediscovered you on Pod Awful interview yesterday. Yeah, Vinny. I remember I did a show with that Vinny Eastwood a long time ago. I haven't heard from him forever. Well, what did you say here about Pod Awful? Wasn't the Pod Awful interview funny? He's a funny dude. Great interview today. Love the awkward moments. There were some awkward moments, especially the end. Well, I mean, I kind of just said, all right, thanks for coming on. All right, bye. And I was expecting him to say, all right, thanks for having me, bye. But he just kind of went there quiet. I'm like, go, bro, do the thing.
Instead of go out and deal with the actual enemy. And I guess
I'm trying to win Owen over, not get him to hate us. All right?
People get thrills out of criticize Trump and be on every TV channel. I get physically ill to see them editing me out of context on every channel, everywhere, every newspaper saying Jones has turned on Trump. Jones says Trump is guilty. Jones says Trump's a pedophile. I said no such thing. And that's not my fault that they deceive and do that. But I'm physically sick over it.
No, he's sweeping really hard. And I pressed Owen on that too. I'm like, dude, what's up with all these copes and sweeping for Trump? Look, here's Alex saying they doctored it. Okay, anyway. I think we're going to leave it there. I want to keep it short so a lot of people want to click to watch it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'll be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, with the leader or a leader of the pagan Nordic group Asatru. That'll be tomorrow, Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Stay tuned for that. That should be a good one. Again, huge thanks to Owen for coming on, despite the years of me attacking Infowars. I do appreciate that a lot. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Clip it up, share the link, give it a like. No More News shirts at nomorenews.org. A few left. I love you all. Thank you all for the support in the Power Chats. Subscribe star link down below if you want to support monthly as well on a safe platform that won't ban us. And hopefully we'll have another one with Owen where we can get into the Jesus question and the real Judeo conspiracy. Should be good. I think he's smart enough. He will get it. It may take some time, but he will get it. All right. Love you guys. See you guys tomorrow. Take care.